I was born and brought up in Gaza City about almost 50 years ago. And everything I know is currently being wiped out. And I've been in the business of interfaith dialogue, peace work, human development for the last 20, 25 years. And it seems like it's all been in vain compared to what's been happening in the last almost now 2 years, or more than a year and a half, in my city, in my country, and in my region. So ultimately, I am being driven by this need for human dignity. At the bottom of it all, if we're all a human, we also share dignity. And where dignity lacks, you will find conflict and inequality and injustice. I do not want to see any group being superior over another group, or think that they have a better right than another group. That there is enough for everyone's need, whether it's land, whether it's resources, but not for everyone's greed. And if people care enough, and if people share enough, there is enough to have peace and dignity in that land. Where is the hope, and even what's the point of all this talk about peace and change? I must admit, I struggle with it. I have my moments, many of them recently, as you and I sit here and speak in the comfort of this place. My family are literally suffering every minute. They have no food and they have no medicine, not to mention the bombs and not to mention so many other things. So I'm having my own struggle, inner conflict, between giving up and holding into hope. But I know I must fight for hope, because nothing lasts. And the one thing that we want to see is peace. So everyone thinks this conflict has gone on and on and on, and it might still go on and on and on. But I just believe the cloud will move away and the sun will shine, and that peace and justice can happen. The result is not in our hands, but you and I, or I and you, are we doing enough to advance peace? Are we being silenced, or are we becoming indifferent? So if enough of us care and enough of us do the right thing by peace and for peace, peace will happen. So I believe initiative change as a movement, as a work, as a spiritual movement, and the Spirit of Humanity Forum are advancing the mission for peace. But we just need to up our game and double our efforts so that we could see the results, hopefully in our lifetime. Over the last 20 years, effectively, I have been on the side also helping produce some films. From Nigeria to South Africa to even France and Germany, historically speaking.
And there's a common thread.
The common thread is really that peace is possible, that enemies can become friends, that no matter how long it takes, 300 years of apartheid or how many years of land and conquer by the British in Ireland, at the end of the day, peace is possible. So I've been making those films, apart from as something to offer to the world. It's really for my own sake, to tell myself, to challenge myself, to inspire myself, that enemies can become friends with peace and justice for all. And again, that no group is superior to another group or see themselves as superior to another group. That's the basis for peace. Then it can be worked out. So the latest film is also from Northern Ireland, and that's another conflict that has similarities to, in a way, to what's happening in the Middle East. Forgiveness and peace are possible after some form of justice. If somebody dies, you cannot bring them back, right? But apology, acknowledgement, what's the word in English? It's not restitution. There's a word in English. But we pay something to make life better for those who are still here. Restorative justice, in other words, right?
Mm-hmm. Restorative justice.
Then forgiveness is possible. Then peace will last. So those films give some of those examples, really, where people have been killed in a conflict situation, where two sides have been battling it out. You talk about South Africa and Northern Ireland conflict in particular. But that when South Africans found peace, when the Black South Africans were given freedom and equality, when the Good Friday Agreement in Ireland gave the Republicans the freedom and the right and the power sharing with everyone else, then peace was possible. If you think about the theme of this year's forum, inner wisdom in governance and leadership, acting with courage and compassion, you couldn't have come up with a better title for this year's forum. Because if you look at the state of the world today, and in particular what's lacking in governance and leadership, you will find that what's lacking is exactly lack of courage, lack of compassion, and even I would say inner wisdom. So the theme is critical, is timely, and the challenge for us is, so how do we get to transformation where, whether in 1 year or 10 years or 20 years, we get to a mass in people in public life who have got courage and compassion, whose inner wisdom is showing up. And at that moment, we will know that the world is in a much better place and that we have done the work that this forum is trying to do.
Smile, though your heart is aching. Smile, even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you'll get by.
We cannot give up hope. We must always hold on to hope. However, because I believe in hope, all I can say to you is what I've been told by my mentor. Do not judge yourself by the result, judge yourself by the effort. Okay? So if you and I do the 110%, if the Spirit of a Humanity Forum and Initiatives of a Change and the Wellbeing Economy Forum and all the other partners that we have and work with, if everyone not just comes together, but does the 110% of effort, the result will just happen. And that's when we can, even not judge ourselves, but at least we should judge ourselves by the effort and let the universe take care of itself. And I believe it will be good results.
If you just